Okay, I thought there was some technical glitch. You were not able to
No,
join.
now you're okay. Now you're loud and clear.
Okay. Thanks, sir, for joining. And we have many people, and I'm a bit nervous also, even though we had interacted before also. But having, talking to you in front of you is more like a achievement, or what do I say? Not really sure.
Don't give any
So yeah.
lectures. Don't give any lectures.
Okay, so sorry. So before we proceed, just to introduce sir, that he is well-known personality and also the only army person who has competed in the IronMan and has completed it twice. Uh, and I will also like sir to explain more about what exactly is IronMan, so that people will be more acquainted on what perspective we are talking of. So if we can start that way, it would be all right.
So you want me to start?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Okay. Now, the Ironman is the most grueling one-day endurance event that there is in the world. And it has three parts to it. You have to swim 3.8 kilometers, then cycle 180 kilometers, and thereafter you have to do a full marathon of 42.2 kilometers. And all three of these have to be completed within 17 hours. And anybody who does this event within 17 hours is titled Ironman. So because it is such a difficult event and it is such a long event, it's called Ironman.
So do you really felt like once you completed, because it was something that you have never told even army while you were preparing for it, and you took it as a personal goal, and instead of sharing it to somebody, you wanted to achieve it first before maybe just broadcasting it. So how did you do that all? And about your family support, which you have told in every interview I've heard, that you got a immense support from your family. So how they have helped you to achieve this particular dream of yours?
Firstly, why I never told the army was because it was my personal mission. I went there to do the Ironman because I wanted to prove to myself that I can do it. So telling people wouldn't have helped because, unnecessarily you start talking to people and telling them that I'm going to do this and that. It really didn't make any difference to me. So the army knew I was going abroad because you have to take permission to go abroad. And in that form that I had filled up, at the bottom somewhere I had written that I'll be participating in the Ironman event. A very small thing, because I had to theoretically inform them if I was going to participate in an event abroad. So that's part of the rules. But nobody even looked at it, and nobody even, probably they didn't even know what Ironman is. So it didn't come into the notice. And I went and did it. Now, as far as family support is concerned, family support, as it is for anything which you do, which is difficult, it is important to have it. Not to say that if you don't have family support, you can't do it. Even if you don't have family support, you can go ahead and do difficult stuff, including the Ironman. But it becomes a little easier if you have family support. Now, in my family, I have two sons and my wife. And there is my father, who's now 99. So he was about 97 that time, 96. As far as support is concerned, first support, which is essential, is that they should accept that you want to go and do this. So once they mentally accept it, like you accept it, they also need to accept it. Then comes the other material support to support you physically on ground. But the mental support is more important. Imagine going for an event like the Ironman and training for it with half the family saying, "Nahi, pagal hai, kyun kar raha hai, mar jayega, chot lag jayegi, ye koi umar hai karne ki." So if you have that kind of environment, then the whole experience becomes more difficult. So I had full support from my family. My father was a little concerned. He used to keep telling me, "Be careful." He knew I was 58. So that's not really a young age to start doing Ironman. And he was concerned about it. But apart from that, my sons never bothered. They didn't say that don't do it. They felt that their dad can do it. My wife never told me once don't do it. When I told her I wanted to do Ironman, she said go ahead and do it. Now came the physical support. In my training, I had to sacrifice family time because I used to come back from office and go for a run in the evening. it used to upset the whole routine at home. Instead of, having your dinner at maybe 8, 8:30, 9, I was having my dinner at 11, 11:30 at night because I was running and coming back and then changing and, having a shower and then having dinner. On a Saturday night, we would not go for any socializing because I wanted to go for my cycling rides. So I would wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning and leave the house by about 1:32, start cycling from 2 to 9 o'clock on the Sunday morning. Now, when I did that, of course, my wife had to wake up because, you can't keep sleeping in the house if somebody is leaving the house at night. So all this support was there to cater for the kind of food I needed, to cater for the supplement I needed for going for cycling. Somebody had to fill the water bottles, give me the nourishment I needed to carry with me, the hydration part. So these are the physical supports which came in different forms. I just explained them in a nutshell, but that's the kind of support.
Right. So like you said that your father has some kind of not very much okay with that, but since he was also part of army before, and so was he the reason that you joined army or something else just came up in your mind before joining the army?
Yeah, so from the time I was about 4 years old, or even younger when you can actually start seeing things around you, I used to see my father in uniform, his uniform, he went for the wars, his lifestyle, his adventures, the kind of opportunities he was getting. So all that left a mark on my mind. Also, my mother used to keep, whenever people asked her, "Ye kya karega?" she would say, "He'll join the army." And that I was just about 4 years old. And so when they would ask me, "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to join the army." So from that age itself, it was just that I'm going to join the army. And I never gave a thought to anything else. And that's the way I went. And in class, after class 10, I appeared for the NDA and got through and went for my interview and joined after 11th I was in NDA.
Okay, so that was a great journey. But like you mentioned about your fathers and mothers, they also thought that you would join army one day. So was like the similar thought you have for your son also, or like they have their own expectation, and your wife, who was your lover, I would say, in your teenage, which is, I don't think it's a very less known fact, but most of the people are aware that at the age of 17, you fall in love with her, your wife, Supriya ma'am, and post that you continued with her as a life partner. So do she have all the same expectation as your son, and they also want like something similar as you did?
So right now, my sons are already beyond the stage when they can join the army. And when they were at the stage that they could join the army, unfortunately, they were not interested. So my elder son is working with Google as a marketing strategist. So he's already there. And the younger one is into fitness. He wants to be an actor. So he was in Mumbai. Then the pandemic came and now he's into fitness. So he is into that sphere. I never once wanted to insist. I never tried to push them that, "Nani, go and join the army." Neither me nor my wife. In fact, my wife is probably more flexible in these things than I am. I used to keep thinking that, yes, if one of them did join, it would be good. But they having made up their choice not to join, I never pushed them even once.
I agree. So like your wife is she has a quite interest in painting, and she also holds some Instagram handle. So what other hobbies and everything she used to manage, which are common to you and your family, so that you all together, sit down to enjoy the time for that particular hobby or maybe a thing, you could say?
So, what happens is when you've known each other for 40 years, which is probably twice the time you had prior to knowing each other, So she was 17 and I have now known her for 40 years. So I think I know her most of her life. And even if you don't have common hobbies, your interests do get merged somewhere and you do look at things which become common. I'm not a painter. She is fond of painting. I love music. She likes music, but she's not that fond of music. But where we do things together is she and I both like to run. So she started doing the half marathons, and she has done the Delhi Airtel Marathon a couple of times. She's done the Mumbai Marathon. She's done the Tough Man Challenge in Shimla. She's done all the marathons which are popular around. And then she also went and did some adventure activities, like she did the Chadar Trek in Leh. She did the Himalayan car rally twice as a crew. She's done the Uttarakhand car rally. And so stuff like that. So that's where we found a lot of commonality. Then she used to go for cycling. She started preparing for the half Ironman. And in 2019, she was to take part in the Goa half Ironman. She was registered. I was registered too, but she got dengue 14 days prior to the event. Otherwise, she had trained and she was all set to go for it. So that's where we found the common ground.
Okay. So again, talking with for the Ironman, like you mentioned. So what exactly is the eligibility criteria, I would say, and what is the exceeded age, I would say, or by what time one can participate in such kind of event? So there are some certain criteria. So if you would like.
Only criteria is you must not be less than 18 years of age. Okay. That's the only criteria. The second criteria to end. Sorry?
No. I was just saying there is no ceiling limit of the age.
No. Only the lower limit, no upper limit. You have to be 18 years old and you have to pay about $1,000 to register. That's the registration fee. These two things you do and anybody can take part in the Ironman. Thereafter, whether you prepare, whether you clear, drop out halfway, nobody is concerned. Ironman is not bothered. But these two criteria and you're in.
Okay, so yeah, I think, but if you're going there, you should have certain kind of training and plan everything. You should not just go and give it. So that was.
You'd be surprised. People go there and I know people who had come to Austria. They did only the swim and then dropped out. And when I asked him, why the hell did you come here? He said, I just wanted an experience of swimming in this lake.
Okay. So what exactly was the name of the lake which you mentioned for 3.8 kilometers in Ironman?
Yeah, so the lake which I swam in Austria was Lake Klagenfurt. Okay. Klagenfurt, it's a water sea lake in a town called Klagenfurt. Klagenfurt is a small village kind of a town in Austria where they've been having the event for a number of years. I think this was the 20th event or 22nd event. That's 22nd. This is 10 kilometers by 20 kilometers in size. And the water is crystal clear. I mean, it's blue water. They say you can sip it. You can drink that water. It's that clean. So that is where we had it in Austria. And when I went to Germany, it was in the lake in Hamburg. It's the Ulster Lake. Ulster. Inner and outer Ulster, the two lakes. Yeah.
So I also heard that you were also planning to go for a New Zealand Ironman like last year. But I think it got postponed or something like that due to COVID. So.
No. What you heard is that when I did the Goa half Ironman, there I came first in my category, and because I came first in my category, I was selected to go for the World Championships. And the World Championships were supposed to be in New Zealand in November last year, but they got cancelled because of COVID. But that's a half Ironman. So half Ironman is half the distances of full Ironman.
So it would be more of like 180 cycling would reduce to half of it and swimming 3.8 would reduce to half of it. So everything would reduce.
Correct. 1.9, 90 kilometers and 21 kilometers. So everything is half.
Yeah. So I'll also since we have most of the people who are appearing for NDA exam and maybe for different exams also. And you are also a 6th medal winner in the academy during your tenure in NDA, and also the Sword of Honor recipient, apart from various other medals like Para medal and other things. So I would like just a few things that one should think of before applying for NDA. Like they should not be like just fill the form and we will see what comes next. So what is the one thing that they should decide before filling up the form for the NDA?
Most important is go and get yourself medically examined. Because if you're not medically suited to join or not medically fit, then no point wasting your time training, preparing for the written exam and also for the SSP. So my recommendation is first get medicals cleared, that medically I'm fit. Thereafter, you need to go and look at the syllabus of NDA. Now, when I say syllabus, it's actually laid down exactly what kind of subjects and how much in detail that they're going to ask you. That syllabus you must prepare as per the syllabus. Don't go by the cursory thing that I've done class 12 and, I am ready. No, you must go by the syllabus. Thereafter, look at old question papers. At least 10 years of old question papers for NDA, you must solve. And you will find that will help you a lot, because whilst the questions may not be the same, but they will be very similar. I can assure you that at least 35 to 40% of the subject questions will be almost similar to what you have solved in those 10 years. Having done that, you appear for the exam, and if you clear it, then you should start preparing for SSB. SSB preparation also is the same, whether you go for IMA, whether you go for NDA, is the same thing you're going to be examined for. So the preparation is the same.
So going back to the academy years, if I talk about, so I was quite interested to know, like, we have heard so many people, like, the nicknames or something, in academy people used to call by maybe in fun nature or something like that. So you would also get some kind of name or nickname, which still if you remember those names, and if I talk randomly to some person by telling that nickname, and they would be able to identify you as a person. So what all those nicknames were given to you?
I had only one nickname, which my father was also called by, and my sons are also called by, and that's Doggy.
Doggy? Are you serious?
Short form from Dogra, it becomes Doggy.
This was something I never know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all of us are Doggy.
So initially you had a plan to go for Dogra regiment, or you already thought of armored?
No, I never had a plan to go to the Dogra regiment, because I was told by my father that you should never join the regiment from which you come. It's always good to join troops which are not from your clan. So that is the reason why it was not Dogra regiment. If I now had a chance, probably I would go and join the Dogra regiment. I was an infantry optee, no doubt, right up to IMA. Till some officer whom I met, he had brainwashed me and told me what a future the Armored Corps has, and it's a mechanized arm, it's got, it's a weapon system, mobile, maneuver arm, and stuff like that. And I was very impressed with the Armored Corps. And that's when I changed my choice in IMA from infantry to Armored Corps.
Okay, so that made you to choose the armor. And
Yeah.
so you got to go for the UN Peacekeeping mission and other adventure activity. So all those from the regiment itself, or you have planned it to yourself, like your adventure activities and other things?
No, all adventure activities that I've done are on my own. Nothing is from the army. I didn't do any adventure activities from the side of the army. Like I cycled from Leh to Chandigarh. That was my own plan. I had taken leave.
But
So the UN mission.
Adventure wing, right? So haven't you tried from there, like the adventure wings, going through them?
Yeah, I didn't. I prefer to do things on my own. Yeah. Like, a lot of people told me, why didn't you get your IronMan sponsored from the army? Because when you do an Ironman, you spend about 5-6 lakhs, for the event. You have to buy the kit, train, go abroad, stay, everything. But I thought it was better that I do it myself. Similarly for my other adventures also. I went rafting last year in March. We had done a rafting trip, 3 days from Rudraprayag to Rishikesh. It was 140 kilometers on the river, 3 days and 3 nights. And we camped on the site. And that was again our private, my 2 sons and self, we had gone and done this event. So there's enough you can do on your own. You don't need to rely only on the army to do it.
So that was a good thing, like you mentioned about cycling, and in few of the interviews you have mentioned about your future vision to go on cycling for 5 continents. So what exactly, like how you are preparing for it, and by what time you will be thinking to, complete that your dedicated mission?
See, cycling around the world doesn't require any physical preparation. It's a logistic nightmare. You need to plan your route very well. You need to know where you're going to halt. You need to know the security situation, because every country has a different security situation. Thereafter, you need visas and you need money to do it. So on a ballpark figure, when I calculated, I would need about 40 to 50 lakhs to do the cycling trip. Okay. No, that's a lot of money to be invested, because you are looking at surviving each day, and it's going to take at least 10 months to a year.
Yes,
So if you look at the duration, then the visas at different places, then the air flights between places not connected by road. Now, unfortunately, being an ex-army officer, I can't travel through Pakistan and Iran. I don't see it as a safe scene, because, there have been cases where they have caught hold of people and said, yes, spy kar rahe hain and stuff like that. So I will have to avoid that, which means I have to fly out of Bombay and get into maybe, Turkey, and then start from there into Europe. So you need flights between continents. So that is how. So the logistic part is more important. What to carry, where to stop, how will you, look at the support which you need on the way, things like that.
Maybe in that scenario, we can connect to few people's the things on different countries, and like from there we can connect to those people to provide the logistics and everything.
I don't think it will work like that. Imagine somebody coming to India for cycling, and you are located wherever you are, and somebody connects with you. Now, how will you give support to that person unless that person is going past your house? Otherwise, you will have to now go out somewhere and start giving support out there. How many people you will find who can do that? So it's a tough call.
Right. Apart from that, what other vision, like apart from the fitness routine, because we all are aware that at the age of 60 plus, you are still fit, like maybe at 30 years or below 40 years, because taking the call at this particular age would also be big thing to go for. So what exactly, like other goals you have to pursue further?
Who told you 30-year-olds are fit?
No, few people are like, at least by the look, they are similar to you.
I have to see a fit 30-year-old, and I'm going to post a challenge soon on Instagram, and I'll see how many people are fit and how many people follow my challenge. And there's a prize also, which I'm going to give for people who can do the challenge. So that will do then. But apart from that, I have some very interesting projects on, where I'm a consultant with a Bollywood movie being made. So that is one. Then there is a web series that somebody's planning to do on me, and we are in the process of writing the script of that.
So
there's a book.
Be enacting as well.
Sorry?
You'll be enacting also, or you'll be just writing the script?
No. It's my story. They'll get an actor to do it. Okay. I have acted it for the last 60 years.
So are you planning also some book or something like that based on
your... So there's a book also being done, yeah.
So you have already decided the title so far, or it's yet to
come?
No.
I think the title will come in the end.
Okay. So you have already started the work, I would say.
Yeah, started.
Soon we'll be getting a book. Maybe.
Hopefully 6 months, yes.
Okay, it's planned very soon.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I do, and this lockdown has given us this opportunity of social media, where now I'm doing an Instagram live with you. Otherwise, I would have never been sitting here and doing an Instagram live.
Yeah,
so this is
very new to Instagram, I would say. Even from the lockdown also, it's been a year, I guess. For you on Instagram, yeah.
So all these are new stuff. So I find lockdown very exciting.
So you never had some competition kind of feeling with your own son, Angad sir, who is also in fitness, and at home you would be like, this is a dad thing. When I was at your age, I would have done this, I did that. So these kind of had baap bete wala cheezein. So kuch aise experience.
All the time. Now we have gone over that. So wo sab ho gaya. All that chaos which has been happening. But now I think we have gone a little ahead, and we are more mature at the way we are now dealing about maine ye kiya, tumne ye kiya, that kind of thing.
Okay, so now it's almost settled at your place.
Yeah.
And what about the other son? Because for Angad, we all are aware, like he's on Instagram, he's very active, having his own YouTube channel. But for your other son, very few people know, who might be knowing you personally. So since he's a techie geek, so what other...
He's not a techie geek.
Okay. So how come he works...
He's a marketing guy.
But
He's not a technical guy.
okay. Yeah.
And he's a fitness enthusiast. So he works out also like Angad. He works out every day. So even now he's started his workout. He'll work out for an hour and a half. And he's very fit.
So I think your family is going to get this title, Ironman family, or like what? Like everybody is preparing or maybe planning or already went to this Ironman. So
I'm looking for the day when both these guys do the Ironman with me.
nice.
But I think it's a little too early for them in their lives because, they have so much other stuff to do. But I hope it'll come sometime soon, whenever it does, that we can do an Ironman together.
Also, one thing like, do this Ironman competition gets tougher at the young age, or is it equivalent to everyone? Because, like you mentioned, it is 17 hours grueling, and
It's the same. For anybody who's 18 years up to 100 years, it's the same. There is no difference. But let me tell you, it is the guys who are fitter are in their 40s. It's not the 18-year-olds who are fit. You will find no 18, 20, 30-year-old winning it. It's always the 40s, late 30s and 40s.
I get it. And also, like for the from the army itself, there are certain games you have always played, like the improvised games. I've gone through few of your posts, like cycle polo, I guess. That is improvised version of polo through cycle, and then there is a hockey. So, what are those games you have never played throughout your life? Like some.
Firstly, let me tell you, cycle polo is not improvised. Cycle polo is a national game. There is a federation, the Cycle Polo Federation, and they have competitions around the world. It's a very popular game. Unfortunately, in India, very few people are playing. It's played more only in the army and then exclusive clubs. Jaipur has a very good club and others. And there's a full federation, like I said. In the army, it is popular. And whilst I was in the army, I played every game. What probably I never played in my life was handball.
Handball.
Because when I was in school, there was no handball. The game came to India much after I had passed out from NDA. When I was in NDA also, there was no handball. So I think handball is the only game I haven't played. Otherwise, I've played every game that there is. Hockey, football, cricket, basketball, volleyball, swimming, cycle polo, water polo, horse polo, riding. I mean, the works. All of them.
And also apart from that, this UN Peacekeeping mission, like you were posted in Angola back then. But what about your experience as a person for the city, not as a posting? What exactly you experienced? What kind of people there were in Africa? Because we all know that Africa as a country is too much backward compared to other nations, and there are certain kind of other things. So, what was your experience over there then?
So Angola, I must tell you a little brief background about Angola before I explain the experience. Angola was a Portuguese colony. And Goa, which is now part of India, was also a Portuguese colony. So I'm just giving you a relationship because now when you go to Goa, you find that Goa is a very, very happening place, a holiday place. Good music, good food. And that's Indian Portuguese. And here in Angola, it's African country and Portuguese. So that was the kind of environment in Angola. They spoke Portuguese and it was a fun-loving country. Lots of music, lots of dancing and lots of good time. Portuguese left in 1975. And since then, till when I was there in 1996, the country was at war. It was in civil war because there were some people who were elected to the government. And so there were the government troops. And then there were the rebels, those who were anti-government. And they were being supported differently by the Americans and by the Russians, the USSR. So they used to supply them the arms, the ammunition, and these guys used to fight. Now this beautiful country was at war for 20 years, and that's when we reached. When I talk of the country, it's on the coast of Atlantic, the Atlantic Ocean, on the east coast of Atlantic. And most of the countries are about 4,000 feet, where you don't even need a fan. So when you come very close to the sea, it is warm. But just about 75 kilometers away from the sea onwards, it's all very, very cool country. And not very populated. So it is the second richest country in Africa after South Africa. But a population of only 10 million that time. It may be a million more now. Now, because of the war, there was lots of poverty. To give you an idea, a government doctor used to get the equivalent of $8 a month. That was the salary. Actually, the salary was a lot in the Angolan currency, Kwanza. But the currency's value had fallen so much because of the war that it used to come to the equivalent of $8. And therefore, the United Nations was giving them all the aid in terms of food, medicine. We were there to make sure that peacekeeping is happening, war is put to a hold. And there was a big effort of demining because Angola had 10 million unaccounted for mines because of the war which had happened. So every town had rings and rings of minefield around it so that the people inside were safe and the rebels could not come in, which meant that you could not leave a town by road. You had to only fly out and fly in. So our food, our mail, our everything came by air. And planes landed and left things and went away. Apart from that, if you were to ignore all this, which was the biggest chaos, it's a beautiful country. The weather, I told you, is nice. And every Friday night, from 9 o'clock to Saturday morning, 5 o'clock, people would be in the discotheques dancing. And Kizomba which is now popular in India, was a dance which originated in Angola, and it used to be done in Angola when I was there. Same thing on a Saturday night. And on a Sunday morning, everybody was on the beach. So it was beach day. So this is the kind of life the Angolans led. And Monday to Friday, everybody was asleep because they were all on world food aid. So they weren't really working too much. And it was a very laid-back environment. But it was a dangerous environment because of the mines, because of the killing, because of, people, there was no value for money. Children were carrying weapons which are armed. You would get robbed. You had been told that if somebody stops you, give them your car. It doesn't matter. Things like that.
I think it's still pertinent in today's scenario also, like in African countries, the same scenario mentioned about robbing in this thing, right? And also this was the well-known thing, but apart from that, where else you have been deputed so far, maybe on a temporary basis or for any foreign deputation?
Yeah, I went to China for an exercise where I had the privilege to witness an armored division and an airborne division doing an exercise in China. I have been on official visits to UAE, to Oman, to Dubai. I went to South Africa, Russia. So, I mean, it's been a lot of places, yeah.
Yeah. So you never thought of getting settled? I know it's a stupid question to ask from an army person to stay or settle somewhere outside of the India. But have you never had this thought to want to settle somewhere else, maybe after retirement or anything like that?
I have given it a thought and I came to the conclusion that the life is best in India. The kind of life you lead out here, you can't even imagine that kind of life outside. Everything here is taken care of for you. You have people who are available to even drive you, clean for you, cook for you, serve for you. It's all a matter of a few, rupees. Abroad, only the very rich can afford it. So most people don't have drivers abroad unless you're very rich. Right. So the standard of living in India is much better than it is abroad. And today's salaries in India are at par with what is available abroad.
So that's, yeah.
So this is the best place. None of you should leave.
And what about your children or your family? They never wanted, they also had this kind of wish, or they all dropped off after you did?
No, I keep telling them what I just told you. I don't know what their thoughts are because everybody has their own perception. Maybe they might go abroad for some time, but surely not to settle abroad. You may go abroad and work. You may go abroad, enjoy what is happening there, and then earn money and come back out here. But I don't think any of them would be wanting to go and settle abroad.
And apart from that, like your course mate would be there, like all would have mostly retired. So you never plan to meet them like in a group, maybe post pandemic or anything. Maybe you
We
reconnect with.
meet. I meet them every day. We have WhatsApp groups, and we are eating each other's heads every day.
No, no, not
So
actually. I'm talking about physically meet up or anything like get together kind of.
yeah, we have a get together regularly, almost probably twice a month, once in 2 months. But because of the pandemic, it's a little low. Otherwise, there are regular get-togethers. So it's all over.
So
Yeah.
this means that most of the course mates stay near the NCR region that make you meet easily.
No, they're all over. There's Bangalore, Hyderabad, Calcutta. I mean, there are chapters everywhere, but we are all connected on one central WhatsApp group. So somewhere or the other, you're connected. So there's a lot of bonhomie. Yeah.
Okay. So apart from that, like, do they never ask you that how come you are on social media? Because most of them would still be, not on Instagram or maybe another social handle. So do you ever tell them that they can also join Instagram or any social media to, anything like that?
Actually, they never ask me. If they do, I'll surely tell them that you better join and first follow me. But I think most of them are on Facebook. Instagram is new, and I don't see many of them on Instagram. Otherwise, Facebook, there are quite a lot of them out there. And we have a group also on Facebook.
Okay, but Facebook is quite inactive these days by the
Yeah.
time it's there. So, and how about your days when you were in NDA? Exactly what kind of experience in your academy years and IMA and other degrees?
NDA experience and IMA experiences are totally different from each other. Because NDA is straight out of school. And when you come to NDA, you are a civilian coming into an environment which is trying to make a soldier out of you. Like I say, from a boy, they're trying to turn you into a man. And they do it. And that transition from boy to man is a very, very uphill task. So, straight out of school, you're pampered, you're looked after. Here you come into a place where you're put through physical exertion. Then you have the mental exertion. Then you have the seniors who are there, not one, but there are 5 terms senior to you. You're the junior most. All that put together, the experience is quite challenging. Having said that, I have been through it, and I went through it quite comfortably and enjoyed it. Now I can say enjoyed it. That time maybe not enjoyed it so much. But when you go there, you start from day one counting the days when the term is going to get over. So we have something called DLTGH, days left to go home.
Okay.
So you write DLTGH and you make a calendar and you put it up on your wall, and every morning with a lot of flourish you cut off one day. If this day is over. Now one more over. Now one more over. Like that. So that is the kind of keenness you have that one term should get over, second should get over, and I need to get out of this place, and then and then I become an officer. Not knowing that your better time is here, and the moment you become an officer, the whole ragada is going to start differently again.
So once you go home, you'll feel like when to go to the academy, like you'll make something DLTG, NDA, something like that.
No. There is nothing to go back. That you already know. You have about 18-20 days. You have a good time, eat, relax, meet people, and then you're back for 6 months into that, quarantine where you're locked up for 6 months and put through all the ragada, and then you come out again. And so you know that. So it's all in the mind how it works. And it works pretty okay. The experience is unique. Later on, you will remember and you will really cherish all those days. But of course, when you're there and you're facing all these minor problems and hiccups, you have this little bit of anxiety and feelings which are there, which are common in anything which is difficult.
Yeah. So you were an achiever, I would say, during your NDA days. So, like, what exactly you did intentionally, or you wanted to actually receive the Sword of Honor or all the medals, or it just came out of your extra performance or something like that?
These are not things that you plan. you plan to do well. And in that thing of doing well, you suddenly realize that you have probably done better than the others have done. Everybody is doing well. And it is only a comparison between A and B. And this difference could be very, very small. So when you are making a merit list, it's not that the first is and the second are so far apart. They are just next to each other. So you are not planning to get this medal or that medal. You are doing your best, and luck, or whatever you can say, destiny. So it just so happened that I got the gold. I was first in the order of merit, and I got the sword of honor. The other events, the other medals which I got are competitions that you have to take part in. So they have a shooting competition, they have a marching competition, they have a para medal for physical fitness competition, there's a tactics medal and stuff like that. So you have to take part in that, and if you do well and you come first, then you get that medal. So the other 4 medals which I got, 3 of them were competitions, shooting, marching, and physical fitness. And the 4th was for being the officer who was first amongst those getting into armored corps. So since I was anywhere first overall, I had to be first there also. So that was like how it came.
And as you mentioned that you had taken part in various sports like fitness and other things. So was that fitness from childhood itself? It was imbibed in you that you were so fitness enthusiast, or it just came up and you were already a fit candidate?
No, I was never fit. I was unfit in the NDA. For the first 1 year, I was in the weak squad. And they put me through extra drills and extra training. And when people were relaxing in the afternoon, that half an hour, 45 minutes, I used to be doing extra PT outside. But after that, that extra 1 year which I worked hard, I got that boost and I caught up and overtook then my course mates, because probably I had put in so much of effort and I was so inclined to push on it. But not that it was easy. Throughout, I had to, put a little bit of extra work. In IMA, I remember when I joined the IMA, now having done 3 years in NDA, I joined IMA when we used to go for squad running. I would run with my knees parallel to the ground. Whole squad was running normally, but I would bring my knees parallel so that I am putting in 1.5 times the effort. So in the same time, I was actually working myself out much more.
So was that your own intention, or it was told?
Yeah, my own. I was just trying to improve more and more wherever I got the chance. Now for shooting, I'll tell you, when I was 7 years old, my father bought me an air gun.
Okay.
And he taught me how to shoot. And that is what probably gave me the thing where I got the shooting medal in IMA. So everywhere, everything had to be worked upon. It doesn't just come easily. And that's why I keep telling people that if you put in the hard work, then things will come your way.
And also, I have gone through your TEDx videos. Even I have watched it before you were on Instagram. So I think the best one I heard was the move the past and walk the present.
Drop the past.
Drop the past and walk the present. So it was all related to your promotion and how you transformed yourself from a person who was not into an Ironman, who was not even aware of Ironman, but suddenly few things changed and you started cycling through the different mountain passes and different states, and then you end up becoming an Ironman from the Indian Army and on the only general. So you have any brief on that, like what exactly transformed you then?
No, this talk which I did on drop the past and walk the present actually is something which happens with everybody in life. We keep looking back and thinking that if I had done this differently, if I had joined that school, or my parents had put me into a different kind of environment, or if I had gone to a different town, if I didn't have this relationship, then things would have been better. So we keep brooding about things which didn't happen. And when you keep thinking of what didn't happen, you lose out on what is happening. Same thing, I found the same thing happening to me when I did not get promoted to my next rank. I started brooding about where I may have gone wrong, what I may have done wrong. And that brooding actually prevented me from leading any kind of a life in the present. I was feeling depressed, sad, burdened. And that's when I realized you needed to do something about it. And I started to do the Ironman, or I started running, and I started, cycling and stuff like that, so that my mind could forget what was happening in my mind. You need to get over your past. And when I could do that, after I finished my Ironman and I managed to convince myself that I still have it in me, that's when I wrote this TED talk, that you need to drop your past and you need to walk the present, because the past is over. The future you don't know about, and the only thing you know about is what is happening in the present. So you must enjoy the present. And to enjoy the present, you need to forget the past. You can't keep thinking, wo ho jata, main aise kar leta, maine ye kyun nahi kiya. You need to forget that somewhere. So that line has to be drawn. That's what my talk is about.
And since I belong from corporate world, so I like to know about leadership qualities one should possess, not in just regular life, but which you have learned from the army life, and it also applies for any sphere of field, I would say, like corporate or maybe other sectors as well. So what are those things one should think of?
I think leadership lessons are the same everywhere. Whichever life you may be in, whether corporate or government or military, and the qualities that a leader must have are first and foremost must be competent. So professionally, you have to be competent. People must look up to you in their in your professional sphere. Thereafter, you should be having good communication skills, so that whatever ideas you have within you, you should be able to pass on to the people whom you're leading. Otherwise, if you can't communicate to them properly, they won't understand what your intention is. So communication skills are important. You need to be morally absolutely upright. So your personal qualities of honesty, integrity, morality have to be above board. They should be, you can't have a leader who's corrupt. So that is okay.
Not a politician.
No, I will not say that also, because every politician may not be corrupt. But when I talk of leader, it's a person who you admire and then you will follow. That's how he's a leader. I'm not talking about a leader just because he's there, you have to follow him, or she's there, you have to follow him. You are going to follow them because you like them. And you will like people who are honest, whose integrity is impeccable, whose honesty cannot be questioned. So this part, these personal qualities are very important for a leader. Next, you should be able to walk the talk. If I tell people that, okay, abhi there's COVID time and there's recession happening, all of you are going to take a pay cut, then I should also be taking a pay cut. I can't say you'll all take a pay cut, but I am drawing my same salary. Then I don't become an effective leader. Okay? So you have to walk the talk. You have to lead by example. Your personal example will go a long way to convincing people to follow you. And you must be approachable as a leader. You can't be sitting behind a screen. That एक boss है हमारा, वो कहीं बैठता है उस ऑफिस में, सारे orders वहां से आते हैं, but हम उसको कभी मिले नहीं है, ना उसको मिल सकते हैं. कोई हमको problem है तो हमको किसी और को बताना पड़ता है, वो जाके उसको बताएगा. No. So a leader must be approachable. If you have an issue, you should be able to go and discuss it with your leader. Therefore, you must, as a leader, be visible to your people. So if you're in a corporate world, say, for example, you're working for a factory, just an example, then the guy who's the top manager must come onto the floor and work maybe, or at least associate with the people out there and ask them, kaise chal raha hai aapki, theek hai machine, nahi hai theek. So you have to be visible, and you have to,
build the relationship.
You have to align yourself. You have to, get into some kind of dialogue with those people so that they can appreciate what you're doing and you can appreciate their problems. So these are the kind of things you must know as a leader.
I think you must be conscious of time, but before wrapping it abruptly, I would just ask, a few things you would want to say in general to everybody, because, or else I can take certain questions.
So we have about 5-6 minutes.
Yeah. So one person has mentioned that how I can prepare myself to do well in academy. So this is one question.
There is nothing to prepare to do well in the academy. Your first problem should be to get into the academy. So if you've cleared your academy in the sense either it's NDA or it's IMA or OTA, wherever you're going, if you are now cleared and you're going into the academy, then your time starts when you go into the academy. They will give you opportunity, they will train you, they will teach you what to do, and that you should do well. That's where you should put your effort. There is no homework you can do from here and go that मैं तैयारी करके जाऊंगा और मैं academy में अपने ये notes निकाल के आगे कर लूंगा या कुछ और करूंगा. Don't worry about anything prior to reaching the academy. Go there and then work hard. Then focus and you'll do well.
And one more question I have received earlier, like there are so many aspirants who have, they tried their best, but due to certain reason they were not in. So they have certain kind of this same thing, drop the past and walk the present. And many of them are doing well also. But for those who are still stuck under the same thing, what is your, you have any say for that?
I want to tell them that if you're not getting through the army, then maybe God has a better plan for you. So don't get depressed about not joining the army. Our president, Abdul Kalam, and even Amit, both of them did not clear the SSB. They tried but couldn't clear the SSB, and see where they went in their lives. I think you're getting out of network.